Welcome to an episode. Yeah, Sports Talk. Welcome to Week 15, 2025 NFL season. We're getting down to the nitty gritty right now. 1 month remaining. Technically about 4 weeks because you got to go to Week 18, and it's interesting to see where some teams are actually at. The Chiefs being outside looking in. The Patriots back in front in AFC East. The Bears look like they could be a playoff team. Jacksonville's looking competent. The Colts look really good, but I think their fortunes are starting to change. And some things still say the same as the Saints and the Jets are sitting on the bottom of the league. But before we're diving into Week 15, we're going to take a quick look back at Week 14 and how I did. And let's just dive in some other news that actually populated and let's go look back at Week 14 where I went 7-7. A lot of games I thought we were going one direction, but definitely did not transpire the way I wish that I thought it would. Let's put it that way. So last Thursday, went to the Motor City where the Lions and Cowboys collided. This is where I thought the Cowboys would go continue their drive forward because they beat last year's Super Bowl participants, Eagles and Chiefs, and I figured they're going the right direction. The Lions looked a little disorientated a bit, so I was assuming that their season will start to unravel a little bit more because remember they lost a lot of their coaching staff previously year. But things didn't go quite the right direction. Dallas looked all out of sorts. They struggled to really get anything kind of transparent or get going. Try and get any traction. There's the word I was looking for. And that offense moving forward, Detroit was finding ways to continue to light up the scoreboard, continue to find ways to score touchdowns, and that was it. Detroit out-muscled Dallas and gave me my first loss of the week. So then we got Sunday. Seattle went down to Atlanta. Way too much for them, which I figure much. The Bengals went to Western New York and gave the Bills a scare because they led them early in the game. And in the snow, Josh Allen was actually running for first downs. The defense actually had a tip pass interception that they ran back for a touchdown. And it gave the Bills just enough to edge out Cincinnati 39-34. In the city by the lake, Cleveland. Between the Browns and Titans, I want the Browns because they're at home. Shedeur Sanders had a phenomenal game. 364 passing, 3 touchdowns, but yet could not stop Tony Pollard, who had 161 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns, as the Titans edged out the Browns 31-29. McCarthy was back to a stellar form with Minnesota as they hosted the Commanders, and unfortunately, Commanders suffered many losses. Hurts, their veteran tight end, gone for the season. Jason Daniels got injured again, and the Minnesota defense rose to the top and shut out the Commanders 31-0. Gave me loss number 3. Then Miami, LaGuardia, no issues. Cook had 2 interceptions as the Dolphins were all over the Jets 34-10. Sog now leads the Saints, the former Louisville quarterback. Looks a lot better than Rattler, who had 144 yards and only 1 interception, but he was able to mastermind the Saints into upsetting the Buccaneers 24-20. Loss number 4. Then the Colts went down to Jacksonville, and unfortunately Daniel Jones is gone with Achilles. Phillip Rivers just came out of retirement and re-signed with the Colts. This is how bad the Colts season is right now. I'm surprised they didn't try to get Andrew Luck to come back. But the Jaguars were all over the Colts 36-19. The Steelers and the Ravens. This one was definitely an interesting matchup between the two, and definitely some interesting calls and non-calls were made in this game that's definitely had me scratch my head. There was a touchdown late by Baltimore that he had 2 steps in the end zone, didn't get the third, but was not given the touchdown. But yet we had the same type of scenario against Cincinnati, and it was. So a little inconsistency with the refs in terms of, one makes a catch in the end zone. And overall in the NFL, defining a catch in particular. Because now you have to make a football move, which is like a third step, which, is ridiculous. But, whatever. But Pittsburgh was able to outlast Baltimore and win 27-22 to put them in front of the AFC North. Loss number 5. Denver heads to Vegas. Struggled a bit, especially in that fourth quarter where Vegas started to come back, but I think it was too little too late as Denver was able to hang on and beat the Raiders 24-17. And then we had the Bears head up to Green Bay. This is where I thought Caleb Williams could actually thrive because he's been so far pretty good up in Lambeau. But Jordan Love, decent numbers, 234 yards passing and 3 touchdowns was quite evident. But the Bears were coming back. They were starting to make their run in that second half. But Nixon getting an interception in the fourth sealed the deal as the Packers edged out the Bears 28-21, putting the Packers back on top of the North. The Bears then dropped to 7th in the NFC for loss number 6. The Rams go to Arizona, and it wasn't even close, 45-17. Houston went to Arrowhead, and there was no answers anywhere by the Chiefs in this game. Defensive-wise, offensive-wise, they just could not really muster anything. I mean, it had a great third quarter, but beyond that, 3 quarters, absolutely nothing. And that was part of the problem. As Houston was able to double up KC 20-10, putting the Chiefs' ability to make the playoffs in question. And then Monday night was a wild game, to say the least. Between the Chargers and the Eagles. Justin Herbert goes out there trying to protect his left hand because he just had surgery on it, and he's out there playing football. So either he's extremely brave or extremely dumb. Maybe a little bit of both. But it was a game between these two that the Chargers' defense was stifling the Eagles' offense, only allowing them to hit field goals. I mean, it was like 13-9 heading into the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden, Saquon Barkley finally broke one through because they ran a fake tush push. It was a 4th and 1. They all lined up like they're going to do the typical Philly thing, and they pitched it out, and Barkley was gone. But there was a missed holding on that play. There was a lot of missed calls in this game. There's a face mask didn't get called. A pass interference wasn't called. Even had a wild sequence in which Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball, intercepted, defensive lineman fumbled it, recovered by Jalen Hurts. So now we have to change possession again. He fumbled the ball again and went back to the defense. 3 turnovers, 1 play. I mean, that you don't see that at all. Maybe if you watch a Pee-wee football or something. And they had to go into overtime. The Chargers were able to get that field goal, but Philadelphia had the possession. They were driving. And a tip ball in the red zone around the 5-yard line. Tipped, intercepted, sealed the game. Chargers win 22-19. Watching the Eagles do another dive in the season. So those were the games. 7-7. We'll kind of see how this kind of progresses, but let's go ahead and dive into Week 15. I try to go quick and sort of because for the rest of the season is a full slate of games. We have the Atlanta Falcons heading to Tampa Bay, who are now trying to recover from the embarrassment against the Saints, and something that definitely they need to strengthen to try to get them forward. And not sure why certain things got out of hand for the Buccaneers that allowed the Saints to maybe rekindle a little bit of their season. I mean, it's not going to change much. I don't think there's enough time for the Saints to come back up there. But with Atlanta, it's between Baker and Kirk who's going to win. But I think Bijan Robinson is going to be a huge factor for the Falcons. He's over 1,000-yard rusher with 5 touchdowns. It's something that the Buccaneers defense are going to have to try to contain as best they possibly can. And it's going to be a difficult process when you got a lot of aspects of the defense is starting to get a little banged up a bit. And we're seeing that the Buccaneers have gone to a stretch of games where they've been losing a lot. They need to shed it. They lost 4 in the last 5 games. Same thing with Atlanta. And right now Atlanta's on a 2-game losing streak. Who is going to break? Right now, analytics likes Tampa Bay, 63%. The line's in favor of Tampa at 5.5. I don't mind either one of these numbers. I do think Tampa is a better team. I think once they clear some things out and get back to the focus, I think Baker can lead them once again and put it in the oven. So on Sunday, let's head to Chicago as the Bears play host to the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland's going to put up some numbers. Shedeur Sanders keeps finding ways to generate some offense. Myles Garrett's going to be another huge factor for Caleb Williams to try to run away from. It's going to be painful to watch. Caleb Williams is 100 yards shy of 3,000 yards with 19 touchdowns, 6 picks. Rushing attacks are pretty much about the same, but the Bears have a double-head running attack that they can utilize so they can continue to find ways to run away from Myles Garrett and focus on other aspects of the team. But right now, analytics is in favor of Chicago, 73%. The line has Chicago at 7. I'll take Cleveland for the points. If you look at the Bears' past games, they have, besides, Philadelphia where they shocked them because they just ran it a lot. They've not really, and then, of course, the Dallas game. The only 2 games I think that their offense really produced that much points. I would say win by a little bit lower margin. So I'll take definitely Chicago for a victory to get back on the winning ways, get the 10th win of the season, pretty much punching their ticket to the postseason almost. Then we head out to the jungles of Cincinnati as the Bengals play host to the Ravens. Both teams suffering a loss last week in their quest to climb up that AFC North ladder. And this is the second game of 3 weeks between the two. And still, Cincinnati has a shot. They're only 3 games behind Pittsburgh with 5 games to go. But the last meeting, Cincinnati beat them 32-14 as Joe Burrow came back to lead the team once again. The team just rallied around the entire Bengals and just around him and just left it up. Definitely some injuries you have to worry about. T. Higgins should be coming back. But I think the problem is, the Baltimore is their own worst enemy to a point. Because against Pittsburgh, there was a lot of plays that just looked out source for Lamar Jackson. He was just off timing a bit. And Derrick Henry missing some catches coming out of that backfield. But he's a 1,000-yard rusher, and it's going to be a huge focus for that Baltimore team, or for Cincinnati's defense, to stifle King Henry, to not get him running like they did last game. Confuse Lamar Jackson a bit, which I think they did last game they faced off. But Baltimore's on a 2-game winning streak. They're definitely going to look to try to rectify this situation and get back on the running track, get back to the point where they're supposed to, make this huge push. But right now, analytics is in favor of Baltimore, 52%. The line is in favor of the Ravens at 3. I'm taking Cincinnati for the sweep. I don't know. It's just something about Cincinnati and Baltimore that these two guys know each other a little too well. Maybe Baltimore will win, split the series, but Cincinnati is also trying to game back in there. And the fact that Joe Burrow's there, they had that stumble against Buffalo when they played them very tough. They only lost by 5, so they still have the tenacity to get there. But I do think, I kind of think Cincinnati will edge them out to get that W. Then we head to the Arrowhead as the Chiefs will play host to the Chargers. The Chiefs right now on a very weird slide, losing 4 of the last 5 games. And that win was in overtime, so they struggled in 5 games. I mean, Dallas beating them by 3, Denver beating them by 3, Buffalo by a touchdown, Houston kind of dominated them, beating them by 10. Things look out of sort. I mean, there's just a lot of injuries on that offensive line that have really hampered the ability of the Chiefs' rushing attack, as well as Patrick Mahomes. Just dropped in his timing a little bit. The defense looks a little out of sorts a bit. It's really weird, but Justin Herbert is 1 hit away from being gone. If he gets hit on that left hand, he's going to be out due to the pain. And him going out there is showing his tenacity, his bravery, and his stupidity all at once. But right now, the analytics favor KC 65%. The lines favor Kansas City 5.5. Take the Chargers for the points. This is going to be a slob knocker of a game between these two. Both these teams are looking to try to claw back in there. Denver is running away with this division. They are now trying to fight to stay in the playoffs. And right now, Kansas City, being 3 games behind the Chargers, needs every aspect they can get. This is going to be huge for them. I am taking the Chiefs to win at home to kind of regain some composure. Then we head over to Foxborough as the Patriots playing host to the Bills. I think this right here is why this is going to be the game if the Patriots win the division or not. I mean, right now they have a 2-game lead on the Bills in the division. But if New England wins this game, I think it's game over for Buffalo running the division. New England's back on top. And Drake May is having an MVP-style season. Over 3,400 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. Josh Allen, over 3,000 yards himself, 22 touchdowns, 10 picks. Cook comes in the backfield for the Bills, over 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. Henderson, a nice little compliment in the rushing attack for the Pats. 625 yards, 5 touchdowns. But right now, I think with Bosa being questionable coming in this game, that defense for the Bills is going to look a little suspicious. But I think you could probably end up playing. And this is going to be a huge game to find out if the Bills can get back against the Patriots and stop this winning streak they're on. Because right now, New England's just been winning game after game after game. And a lot of these games have not been close. I mean, yeah, Cincinnati only won by 6. And then a couple weeks prior to that, they won by Tampa Bay by 4. Slipped past Atlanta by 1. Had to come from behind to beat Atlanta, by the way. Buffalo right now is a 2-game win streak, knocking off 2 decent good teams. Struggling against Houston. But I think Buffalo might be in a slightly better position, but I think Stephon Diggs might be a key factor in this game as well. That he provides a nice threat for Drake May against his Buffalo defense. Right now, Buffalo is favored analytically at 54%. The line is at 1.5 towards Buffalo. I like all this. I am taking Buffalo to win at Foxborough to try to slow down the Patriots a bit. Put the Bills 1 game behind them, give them their 10th win of the season. Now time head to the Big Apple and the 2-1 Giants. 2-11 Giants. Wow. We'll take on the 3-10 Commanders. And, yeah, there's going to be some issues right now with Jane Daniels, because he has an Ebel issue. Then you have Marcus Mariota. Like I said, Zach Ertz is gone. I think his career might be actually over. Apparently that's a pretty tenacious hit. Jackson Dart still trying to find ways to be relevant with this offense, and they still put up decent numbers. I mean, the Patriots defense was way too much for them, but they saw what Detroit had to go in overtime to beat them. Green Bay only beat them by 7. The Bears only beat them by 4. San Francisco had 10. So Giants find ways to kind of keep themselves in games, but they never seem to quite get over the hump. And right now, the Commanders are just in free fall. The great run they had last year, Jason Daniels, doesn't compare to what is going on now. And right now, analytics likes the Giants at 59%. The line's in favor of Washington at 1.5. This is the pick'em game between these two. And with the injuries and injury concerns with the Commanders, I'm going with the Giants to win at home to get win number 3. Now we have the Raiders heading to Philly to see which team can stop their losing streak. Philly's been on 3 straight losses right now. Had an opportunity last Monday against the Chargers and just interception right at the end. It's just the offense for Philadelphia is just crumbling, and not sure why they can't seem to find ways to get the team going. Saquon Barkley is not really a threat as he normally is, because he only has 860 plus yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, he's not that great. And Jalen Hurts is not throwing a lot either, on 2,700 yards passing and 19 touchdowns and 6 picks. Not to mention his turnovers he had against the Chargers was, phenomenal, especially 2 in 1 drive. That's something, like I say, you won't see that unless you're watching Pee Wee football. But Geno's being questionable with a shoulder injury. He may go, he may not. If you look at the Raiders, they have not really done much. I mean, Denver, they gave him a little bit of a fight. Same both times they faced him, but beyond that, nothing much. Right now, Philly is in favor, 76%. The Lions, 12.5, in favor of the Eagles. This is the game the Eagles need to get back on track, stop their 3-game slide, get back into the dominance of the divisions. Right now, they're only up 2.5 games on the Cowboys. They need to win to continue to keep Dallas away and actually be the first repeat champion in the NFC East for 25 years. But, yeah, Eagles. Well, the Jets are going crash land in Jacksonville to take on the Tomcats. I mean, the Jaguars. And, no, I mean, with the quarterback issue is going right now with the Jets, with Fields and Tyrod Taylor, both questionable. Everything points towards Jacksonville. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. coming back is a huge factor. So it's I think it's just one-sided affair with this one. Jacksonville has 77% analytic favored. The line's 9.5. I'm not questioning anything. This is going to be Jacksonville. Like I said, this is going to be quick and easy on this one. The Cardinals will head down to H-Town to take on the Texans. And the Cardinals are not going to be an easy out. Like I said, Jacoby Brissett seems to have a different dynamic with this offense with Arizona. I mentioned this time and time again. But they always seem to find ways to lose it. I mean, in the past 5 games, only 2 of them were close. I mean, Jacksonville had to go in overtime to beat them, and Tampa Bay struggled and only get past them by 3. And Houston had some close matchups, especially with the Colts, especially with the Bills, especially with the Titans, which they shouldn't have. But they all end up winning, and this team just continues to find ways to win. And they're trying to keep pace with Jacksonville, only be 1 game behind. And you're waiting for Jacksonville to make a slip up, and Houston can pounce on it. C.J. Stroud, looking competent, 2,100 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 6 picks. Jacoby Brissett, over 24 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. Then you have Bam Knight coming out of the backfield for the Cards for over 270, 4 touchdowns. They have Woody Marks leading in the Texans rushing attack with 550 plus 2 touchdowns. So it's kind of which team you're going to believe in. I kind of like the young Houston defense, how they are very tenacious and get in the passing lanes, get in the backfield, and disrupt everything on an offense. Very aggressive and find ways to do it. And C.J. Stroud can find ways to be very consistent take what the defense gives them and put up points. Right now, analytics likes Houston at 71%. The line favors Houston at 7. I have no issues in either one of these. Taking the Texans to win at home to continue their push. Then we head to the Mile High City as the 11-2 Broncos play host to Jordan Love and the 9-3-1 Green Bay Packers. Both of them division leaders right now. Jordan Love over 3,000 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's putting together a nice, quiet season. Bo Nix for the Broncos, almost 3,000 yards, 50 yards shy. 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Josh Jacobs. Well, I'm just seeing Jays and just go somewhere else. Over 800 yards rushing with 12 touchdowns. Still have the issues with Denver's running attack, but, they have a nice guy come back in that backfield to really help out. It's kind of the receiving core for the Packers are kind of getting thin, but they always seem to find ways to make things work, especially with Romeo Doubs. But it's the defenses that are going to play a huge factor. Which sack specialist is going to have a bigger day? Michael Parsons or Benito? Both of them have 12.5 sacks, both coming off that edge. Definitely disrupt both these young quarterbacks and get in their faces. Right now, analytics likes Green Bay 53%. The line has it at 1.5. I mean, looking at some of the games, Denver has been struggling, and they've been winning. They've been edging out these victories. I mean, last week they held on to beat the Raiders by 7, win overtime against Washington, only because they went for a 2-point play that they ended up winning. Beat the Chiefs by 3, beat the Raiders by 3, beat the Texans by 3. And you see the Packers, late interception to beat the Bears, held on to beat Detroit 31-24, dominated Minnesota, struggled against the Giants. I mean, both these teams, I think, are very similar in terms of playing style and how they operate with these young quarterbacks, good receiving core, very good defensive members. I think it's going to be a really tough game between these two. Even though everything's pointing towards Green Bay, I'm going to take Denver in this one to get that 12th win of the season and pretty much punch their ticket to the postseason. Then Detroit will head to the Rams in the Stafford Goff Bowl. I mean, both quarterbacks used to play for each other, got traded, and then Stafford and taking the Rams to the Super Bowl and winning, which Goff couldn't do. Took him to the Super Bowl but couldn't win. But both these guys having almost similar numbers. But one's more considered for MVP than the other. But Jared Goff, I think he's having an MVP-style season, over 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 picks. Stafford over 3,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 4 picks. Jamari Gibbs coming out of the backfield for the Lions, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. And Kyren Williams, 952 yards rushing for the Rams, 8 touchdowns. But Puka Nacua is a huge factor, over 1,000 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. One of the main reasons why the Rams continue to win. And the Lions are just one of these teams that just flips every week, it seems like. To win, loss. And this might be, the time frame. I mean, you saw what the Rams did against Arizona. I think it's going to be a very closer game against the Lions. Probably one more like the game they had with Seattle. But right now, analytics in favor of the Rams at 57%. The Lions at 4.5%. I might take Detroit for the points. I think that's going to be a lot closer than what it may be. I mean, the line could change by the time Sunday rolls around, but I'm still taking the Rams to win at home to get win number 11 and make that NFC West even more potent than it already is. Then we have Carolina heading to New Orleans, take on the Saints, and continue to see how this team, the Saints, is now rallying around Bond and trying to see if he continue his mastery of this team. I mean, you saw what he did against Tampa Bay. very efficient, able to rally the team around him, even despite all the injuries they have going along for him. Bryce Young started to pick up a little bit, almost over 2,300 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, but 9 picks, major factor. But the rushing attack is the key factor with Dowdle over 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. And he's going to be a key factor in this game, trying to rush, take pressure off Bryce Young so he can find ways to get to McMillan and other receivers he has. And right now, analytics has a slight edge over for Carolina, 53%. Lions in favor of Carolina, 2.5. If the Saints could continue their trajectory like they did against Tampa Bay, they handled that team quite handily. Or not quite handily, but they handled them enough to get that victory. I think they could have the same effect with Carolina. And I'm taking the Saints to win at home to get themselves their 2 wins in a row and start their own little winning streak. When you got the Titans head over to San Francisco, take on the Niners. The Titans had a great game last week. Withstood the passing onslaught by Shedeur Sanders, but still ended up winning. Cam Ward, 24 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 7 picks. Tony Pollard was a huge factor in that game. He has 700 yards plus rushing, 4 touchdowns. But, it's the 49ers. It's going to be a hard team to go after because you still have to worry about McCaffrey, who's a dual threat. I mean, if you're going to stop him rushing, can you stop him receiving? And it's going to be a huge factor for this Titans defense, who can't seem really defend a lot of teams that are able to do that. And right now, analytics all over the 49ers, 83%. The line's in favor of the Niners at 12.5. I'm not pushing back at any of that one. I do think it's going to be the 49ers winning this game quite handily. And the injury-ridden Colts now head up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Dan Jones is gone. Richardson's gone. They actually had to bring back. Riley Leonard is questionable. They had to pull out Phillip Rivers out of retirement to be a quarterback for the Colts. It's how bad this Colts season is going right now for them. At this particular point in time, I mean, they started out great, on fire. Daniel Jones came in there to give Richardson a little push, and which led them to get injured. And all of a sudden, the wheels on the bus fell off. They didn't go round and round; they just fell off. Jonathan Taylor is a huge factor for this team. Or a 1,300 yards rusher with 16 touchdowns, MVP candidate. Probably won't win it. Probably be like, what happened to Saquon last year. Sam Darnold still continuing to showcase his abilities. Over 3,100 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 11 picks. Walker comes up as the leading rusher for the Seahawks, over 760 yards, 4 touchdowns. It is the injuries affecting Indianapolis going to play a huge factor in this game. Seattle is firing all cylinders right now. I mean, they've looked what their defense have done the past 2 games. Only allowed 9 points in 2 games. Right now, analytics. Alexa at 72%. The line's a favorite at 3.5. I think the number's going to go up. I don't think Indianapolis is going to really put much of an effort in there. The way that defense is going for Seattle, it's like a recreation. That Legion of Boom defense, they're thriving. I've seen them winning and continue to make this NFC West race very, very interesting. Sunday night, Minnesota Vikings head down to Jerry's World to take on the Dallas Cowboys, and this one is going to be interesting. Because if you look at the Cowboys, they had this 3-game stretch where everyone's jumping on them. I mean, one of the game was against the Raiders, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But then when they defeat the defending Super Bowl champions and defending AFC champions in back-to-back games in good defensive showdowns, or at least good defensive showings, not really showdowns, because, when their offense were clicking and everything was working, those those two additional games where there's 3 weeks where all of a sudden Dallas Cowboy fans are starting to get, thinking they might have a shot, and then Detroit's happen. And then Minnesota, you just see them struggling, and then, they got shut out by Seattle, but then they take on Washington, and the complete opposite happened. J.J. McCarthy came back and put up some decent numbers. Prescott himself is actually having a very decent season. I think almost MVP-esque style numbers, or 3,600 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks. Then you have Javonte Williams coming in that backfield over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. George Pickens is really starting to pick up. He's a 1,000-yard receiver right now. For the Vikings, you have Jordan Mason, leading rusher, 630 yards, 4 touchdowns. You still had Justin Jefferson, a huge threat for that secondary, or for the Dallas Cowboys secondary, who has 810 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not really getting a lot of touchdowns, but with JJ coming back, I do have a feeling things are going to start to change a bit, especially if he's able to maintain himself. But right now, analytics likes Dallas at 62%. The Lions in favor of Dallas at 7.5%. I'm taking Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to come in there and be shocking. I mean, this is the game I had a struggle to figure out which way I was going to go in which direction I was going to go with, because everything was pointing towards Dallas and Detroit, and that wasn't the case. Yeah, I know Minnesota has the worst record than the Cowboys, but I don't know, just something about the NFC North that Dallas can't seem to handle. Ty Green Bay got blown out by the Bears, got blown out by the Lions. What do you think is going to happen when they take on Minnesota? I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be very, very close. I like the Minnesota to win on the road. Then Monday night, a very interesting game between 70s powerhouses, Miami and Pittsburgh, battling off in the Steel City. One 6-7, one 7-6. One sitting on top of the NFC North. The other one is sniffing the playoffs, kind of hanging outside, looking in, along with the Chiefs. They're starting to get things in the right direction. I mean, they started with that blowout win against Buffalo, and since then, they've just been on the march, winning 4 in a row. Pittsburgh just stopped the 2-game slide, knocking off their division rival. And things look promising for Pittsburgh. We'll kind of see how things kind of play out. But Aaron Rodgers, quietly, 2,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. Tua Tagovailoa, over 2,400 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, 4 picks. Definitely got to get that squared away. Then Jalen Warren for the Steelers, 650-plus yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Well, Devon Achane, over 1,100 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. But he is right now questionable with ribs, so we'll see if he actually laces them up and plays. We'll kind of see, but then you got to look at the 2 key linebackers for these teams, Bradley Chubb and T.J. Watt, both about the same. Chubb has 6.5 sacks, while Watt has 7. So you got to figure out which one's going to be a bigger factor in this game. And then you got Waddle and Metcalf being the 2 key receivers. I mean, there's give and take with this one. You get the older quarterback, more experience, taking on the younger guy, continue to try to thrive. Right now, analytics is on Pittsburgh's side at 60%. The line has it at 3. I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one. I think if they continue that mastery they did against Baltimore, it should be fine. But that's one thing Pittsburgh lacks is consistency. They'll have like one good game and just revert back to something else the next game. But I have a feeling they can actually win this game, get that little cushion in that divisional race, especially since earlier in this video I picked the Bengals to sweep the Ravens, give them that 2-game cushion, so it gives them the ability to lose a game and not really have to worry about too much. But I think that this is going to be a close matchup. I do like the 3 points, but I am going with the Steelers to win at home. Well, there you go. There's Week 15, a full slate of games. a lot of teams are kind of finding different ways to go about it. Teams are starting to slide down the ladder, like the Colts and the Eagles, for different reasons. One for injury, one for play. Perennial powerhouses are kind of sitting on the outside looking in, trying to scratch their head. How can they get back into the playoff picture? And so you still have 4 more games to kind of go and figure out who's going to be where, and it's only going to get stranger from here. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of my picks, which one you think I got completely wrong, which one do you completely agree with. Is your team still in the playoff hunt? Let's mix it up, be kind to each other, better interact, more boost YouTube algorithm. That really help get this video out to the masses. Nothing you really help this video out, especially like what I do, is hit that thumbs up. You want to first support this channel, you can't subscribe. What you want to do is smash that subscribe button. Click that bell icon, turn on notifications next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.